Okay. I think it's quite important that we...
You're watching Professor Chris Whitty, England's Chief Medical Officer, giving evidence to British members of Parliament. We're going to say goodbye now to viewers on BBC World.
You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. Emergency measures as Omicron surges. France banning non-essential travel to and from the UK amid record cases in Britain. Thousands are seeking refuge as one of the strongest typhoons of the year batters the southern Philippines. 13 million people could be affected. Horror in Tasmania, 5 children are killed when an inflatable bouncy castle is swept up by a gust of wind.
Young children on a fun day out together with their families, and it turns to such horrific tragedy. At this time of year, it just breaks your heart.
And Turkey's currency crisis. We'll be finding out why the lira has hit new lows as President Erdogan challenges economic orthodoxy. The next half hour will be live in Paris, Manila and New York. Omicron is continuing to spread around the world. 78 countries have now recorded the new variant, Poland being the latest. Many governments are now scrambling to reimpose travel restrictions in an attempt to stem the spread. Now, France has said it will only allow essential travel from the UK as infections linked to the new variant are surging here in Britain. The latest figures showing new COVID infections have reached the highest daily level since the beginning of the pandemic here in the UK, with more than 78,000 total cases reported on Wednesday. South Korea as well also announcing new restrictions. It's going to reinstate stricter social distancing rules on January the 2nd. It's only been 6 weeks since they eased those rules, and the number of new infections and serious cases there are continuing to spiral. As Louisa Pilbeam now reports. Mercedes has announced it will not appeal the outcome of last Sunday's season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This means that Red Bull's Max Verstappen is confirmed Formula One world champion. Verstappen took the title after overtaking Mercedes 7 times world champion Sir Lewis Hamilton on the last lap of the race following a safety car period. The Dutch driver will collect his trophy in Paris on Thursday. Lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell will start her defence in a New York court later. She is accused of grooming underage girls for abuse by the billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. It's thought they will call dozens of witnesses, although it's not yet clear if the 59-year-old will take the stand herself. Absolute horror and despair in Tasmania in Australia after 5 children died in a bouncy castle accident. A number of others are said to be critically injured. Prime Minister Scott Morrison called it a horrific tragedy. A terrible tragedy there in Tasmania. You're live with Lucy Hockings, still to come. Against the odds, the endangered whale that's managed to give birth while entangled on a rope. And we just heard that Turkey has cut interest rates for the 4th time in a row as the country is grappling with an economic crisis. Live with Lucy Hockings. Let's bring you the very latest from Turkey. We've just had an announcement from the central bank. It is cutting interest rates yet again. Now, this is the 4th month in a row that this has happened. And contrary to the orthodox economic theory, President Erdogan has been putting pressure on the bank to cut interest rates to boost the economy. This policy, though, has helped drive inflation above 21% in the Turkish lira. We know has now hit a new low against the dollar. Ece Gökçedef from BBC's Turkish service joins me now. What effect is this cutting of interest rates going to have on the economy? Some good news. I'll see you in a few minutes' time for the headlines. You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. Emergency measures as Omicron surges. France banning non-essential travel to and from the UK amid record cases in Britain. Babies and children are rescued from the floodwaters in the Philippines as one of the strongest typhoons of the year batters the southern coastline. Horror in Tasmania. 5 children are killed when an inflatable bouncy castle is swept up by a gust of wind.
Young children on a fun day out together with their families, and it turns to such horrific tragedy. At this time of year, it just breaks your heart.
The US braces itself for more bad weather in the wake of the Kentucky tornadoes. This time, the warning is for dust storms, high wind and snowstorms across several states. In the next half hour, we'll be live in Paris, New York and Seoul. Omicron has continued to spread around the world. 78 countries now recording the new variant, Poland the latest. Many governments scrambling to reimpose travel restrictions. They're trying to stem the spread. And it's France that has announced some pretty dramatic ones too, only allowing essential travel from the United Kingdom as infections linked to Omicron surge here in Britain. Let's show you the latest figures from here. The UK recording COVID infections of the highest daily level since the beginning of the pandemic. More than 78,000 total cases reported on Wednesday. South Korea also saying it will reinstate stricter social distancing rules on January the 2nd, just 6 weeks after easing them. The number of new infections and serious cases spiralling there too, as Louisa Pilbeam now reports. Nemo, good to get your thoughts. Thanks for joining us and updating us from Seoul. Mercedes has announced it will not appeal the outcome of last Sunday's season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This means Red Bull's Max Verstappen has confirmed the Formula One world champion. Verstappen took the title after overtaking Mercedes' 7 times world champion Sir Lewis Hamilton on the last lap of the race following a safety car period. The Dutch driver will collect his trophy in Paris on Thursday. Lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell will start her defence in a New York court later. She's accused of grooming underage girls for abuse by the billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. It's thought they will call dozens of witnesses, although it's not yet clear if the 59-year-old will take the stand herself. The influential black feminist Bell Hooks has died at the age of 69. The author, professor, poet and activist, whose real name was Gloria Jean Watkins, wrote 40 books. Her first major work, Ain't I a Woman, was published in 1981 and became widely recognised as an important feminist text. In 2004, she established the Bell Hooks Centre in Kentucky as an inclusive space for historically underrepresented students. You're live with Lucy Hockings. Still to come, we'll bring you the latest from Tasmania, where 5 children have been killed in a bouncy castle accident at a school summer fete. We'll be live in Istanbul later with more on Turkey's currency crisis. You're live with Lucy Hockings. 5 children have been killed in Australia after a bouncy castle was swept into the air by a gust of wind. 4 other children are being treated in hospital after the fall, and 3 of them are critical. Our Sydney correspondent Shaima Khalil has this report. Good news indeed. Stay with us. We'll be live in Istanbul in a few minutes. Bye-bye. You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. Emergency measures as Omicron surges. France bans non-essential travel to and from the UK amid record cases in Britain. Turkey's currency crisis, the lira hitting new lows as President Erdogan moves to slash interest rates. Controversy in Pakistan. The authorities begin a reconciliation process with the Pakistan Taliban. Despite Despite rising inflation and a currency crisis, Turkey's central bank has slashed interest rates for the fourth month in a row. Now, this is a move that sent the country's lira down another 5% to a fresh record low. Analysts saying this decision has been driven by President Erdogan's unorthodox economic program. He believes low interest rates will dampen rising prices. To stay with us here on BBC World News, still to come. Portraying motherhood on screen. We talked to Olivia Colman and Maggie Gyllenhaal about their latest film as awards season gets underway. You're live with Lucy Hockings. It's going to be another busy awards season for the British actor Olivia Colman. She's already picked up a couple of nominations for her latest role. It's a film called The Lost Daughter, and it's the directorial debut of US actor Maggie Gyllenhaal. Colman plays a lonely academic reliving some of the struggles that she faced in motherhood. Colin Patterson has been to meet them. Perfect present for Under the Tree. Thanks for joining us.